My apologies right off the bats for last week. I didn't have the correct intro music, nor did I give us the This Week in Baseball theme for This Week in Poo. So, my apologies for that. Everyone who was looking for...
Fix it now.
No, well, I mean, I could in post, but then who's going to... Why? Who's going to... The people who've already downloaded it have already downloaded it. Yeah. So, my apologies. Hopefully...
But I like that you're apologizing for something people didn't know happened.
I know. I let them behind the curtain there.
Right.
So they may be tuning in right now, going, and if there's no music... They're like, oh, well, now he got lazy again. It's 2 weeks in a row. So next week he's going to apologize for no music here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We're off to
It's me you should apologize to.
Well, I'm apologizing to you. Okay. I'm sorry. I promised you something and I did not deliver. Yeah. But
I just want to sound good. That's what I count on you for, is to make me sound good.
Well, we actually sound too good because it's a Too Good for Radio podcast. Mike and Molson here with you. We begin. This is dropping the day after 4th of July, but some fireworks from a man in Florida.
Yeah. Walmart is experimenting with drone delivery.
Yeah.
And now deputies had to be called to a man's home for shooting down a Walmart drone, taking it right out of the sky.
I'm fraught with so much peril with this drone. First of all the air traffic, how it all works, but this as well of just your random delivery shot down by someone because that drone is recording me.
I mean, this really should be the canary in the coal mine that this drone delivery thing is not going to work. Deputies were called to 1450 Johns Lake Road after a drone delivery representative reported the incident. The representative said a two-man crew was campaigning in a nearby community, which includes mock deliveries to the crew to attract business and interest.
So mock deliveries.
So they're flying around saying, this could be your business too. See how easy this is?
Yeah, with drone delivery service, you too can just fly on in.
While awaiting a drone delivery's descent, the crew stood in front of a home located in a cul-de-sac. When the drone began to descend, he heard, one of the representatives said he heard loud, consistent gunshots.
Yikes.
The rep told he saw a 60-year-old man wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt at the side of the home holding a gun toward the sky.
Get off my sky.
I don't know what. You're in my airspace.
It used to be get off my lawn. Get off my airspace. Bam, bam, bam.
Company discovered $2,500 worth of damage to its payload system. They returned to the home where the alleged shooting happened, and they found 72-year-old Dennis Wynn. When asked if he had an incident with a drone, he said, I did. He told deputies he saw a drone fly over his home, prompting him to retrieve his gun and fire at it. I don't know what that is. I got to shoot at it.
Why would that immediately you go,
I don't know what it is.
Oh, my God, a drone. I better shoot it down. Coming right at me.
Wynn said he had experiences with drones flying over his home and believed it was watching him.
That's what I said to start this segment.
He was arrested and charged with shooting at an aircraft, criminal mischief, and damage over $1,000, also discharging a firearm in a residential area.
Can you imagine if he misses and there's a low flight, like an Alaska Airlines flight or a Boeing is like skimming around and he hits the fuselage just because that damn drone's flying over his airspace?
How many drones had to go over his house before he said, all right, the next one, I am going out there and I'm shooting it? I'm thinking one.
One. Yeah. If you're that charged up, it's going to be one. Yeah. And do you think he was excited about it? He's like, hot damn, finally a drone flying over my house. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Loretta, get me my gun. Going to take this SOB out.
Because the first time you encounter a drone, you're not really sure what it is. You hear it. It's got that distinctive, it's got that sound.
Right, exactly.
You look up and you see it and it's gone.
Right.
Next time, he was laying in wait. That was what he did all day.
Thank God he wasn't at the Fat Ass 5K this year because they had a drone to take a picture. I can only imagine it'd be like, I'll take you out.
No, he is in his lawn chair. He's got one of those deer hides. What are those? One of those sheds that they.
Oh yeah, the deer blind.
The deer blind.
Yeah, he's just sitting in his head waiting for it.
Wait for it. Just.
What are you doing?
Can't wait.
What are you doing, Merle? I'm drone hunting. I'm just waiting for them to fly back there. I'll be damned if someone's going to get their dental floss and their mouthwash on my watch. I'm going to take them out.
Never like Walmart anyway. I'm a Dollar Tree man.
That's the way. I'm working for Target J with some target practice on this drone. Maybe the guy should just take a chill pill and maybe take a drag out of the old marijuana to kind of relax his anxiety. And what they found, new research has found that the ladies who are having difficulty reaching completion, that if they smoke a little marijuana beforehand, they get there more frequently.
No, not kidding.
Yeah. So right before how do you bring that up though? Of like, hey, before we get into this, I need to do some smoking. Well, why? Because you want to think you're fantasizing about someone else. You need to relax your anxiety. Like, what's going on here? To just stop everything in the middle of the proceedings? Like, sorry, need to take a one hitter real quick, or grab an edible.
Yeah, I mean, I think men. Look, we know that we don't really satisfy.
Right, that's true.
And
that's
so
true. Going in,
whatever accoutrements we need to help out.
Now, let me ask you this. What do you think the success rate was for those who weren't able to get there through the sex and everything else? Like it had difficult. What was the improvement? What percentage got there after using the weed?
I'm going to say 21%.
No, 39.8% increase in orgasm frequency with cannabis use.
That's substantial.
Yeah, specifically.
Easy.
Specifically,
there you go.
There we go.
Slow down, son.
Yeah, specifically, 88.8% reported reaching orgasm more frequently when using cannabis, compared to 63.3% without it. So that's pretty substantial numbers there of just maybe it gets you more relaxed.
Well, and this is the thing that the pot industry needs to talk about.
Yes.
Because they're always like going on about, glaucoma and epilepsy, whatever. If you tell somebody that your wife will reach orgasm, I think that's the thing that's going to...
We should really go out more to, recreational and medical marijuana to sponsor the show, because she'll actually like it too.
This actually works, yeah.
They said satisfaction with the orgasm, by the way, nearly doubled, with 86.1% of women reporting higher satisfaction with the weed compared to 43.6% without it. That is a 43% increase. I mean, of just using a little bit of weedus to do that. Dissatisfaction rates dropped significantly as well, from 56.4%. Think about that. Dissatisfaction was almost 60%. We are guys, we got to do better.
Yeah.
We need to do better.
We don't know what we're doing.
We need to do better.
And women won't tell us.
Without
a big secret.
To 20.8% with it.
I'd like to see a really mellow Frank Thomas also doing ads for gummies. And she like it too, man.
Yeah, I'm here with Doug. You been run down a little bit in the old testosterone? Well,
I'm not running at all, Frank.
Yeah, I know. Instead, what you need to be doing, instead of pumping yourself full of these Nugenic pills, which are good, but combine them with some nice gummies.
You pump the Nugenics, and she takes a gummy, and
next thing you know, ring a ding ding. Oh yeah, exactly.
Happy.
Everybody happy. This is not a happy story at all.
We got a woman who reportedly got cold feet before meeting someone she met through a dating app.
Okay.
I know, it's a stranger.
Happens. Yeah.
It's a little, that can be a little intense.
Can be some anxiety involved.
And so instead of being an adult and saying, hey, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't feel like going out. Let's just, this just isn't,
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. I apologize for wasting your time, but, let's try again maybe another time.
That was one option.
Yeah.
Option 2 was dialing 911 and saying, this man is assaulting me.
What? This poor sap just shows up at the house for a first date, and next thing you know, the cops are there?
He got that 1 in a million right swipe.
Yeah, he was so excited.
He's got the carnations from the gas station in hand, ready to take her out.
He's got his high karate on.
Yeah. 18-year-old Sumaya Thomas called 911 just after midnight.
That's a little weird to be the first date time of midnight. That's a little odd. I will admit that. But this guy's probably thinking booty call.
Right. And said, my abusive ex-boyfriend is threatening to punch me and stab me. Also, I'm pregnant.
Oh, by the way, yes, I'm also pregnant.
How can I? And he robbed me from my bank account. And what else happened?
Voter fraud.
He was taking pictures.
And voter fraud.
However, officers found the man leaving the scene. He reported to officers they'd only just met about a week ago on a dating app. They changed from talking via the app to exchanging text messages, showed the police the whole conversation. And
thank God the police for being a little bit laid back.
Yeah.
and being like, okay, let's talk this through instead of coming out guns a-blazing with a guy who's supposedly stabbing his pregnant ex-girlfriend.
But she digs her heels in. Police say, hey, this guy's showing, you guys just met. This is
right,
not your
this doesn't go
ex-boyfriend.
back,
and she says, no, I've known him for 2 years, and I'm pregnant. And then they go back to the guy. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Nothing. So they go back to her a third time, and she says, okay, I just had cold feet.
That's not how you handle that.
During the interview, she said, I didn't think the police would help me, so I made up the events. You got to give them a good story.
Before them to come out there.
They're not going to.
Yeah, you can't just call 911 and be like, hey, I can't get rid of this guy out of my driveway. Could you come by? Because I got cold feet on this date.
And that's the killer. She wasn't even trying to get. It wasn't like he was pestering her or she was trying to get rid. She just didn't want to go on the date.
Right. He knocked on the door, which is a weird time, by the way, for a date to start.
It is.
That's fine, but maybe, whatever. They've been texting. But that poor sap just knocks on the door. No answer. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, wait for it. And next thing you know, cherries and berries show up.
Right.
And he's getting yanked out of his car. Get on the ground. You're going to stab your pregnant ex-girlfriend. Oh, what? I think I'm in the wrong house then.
Right.
Sorry, officer. Take a look at my phone. What's the chances, though, that if she then reaches out and be like, hey, that was a whole misunderstanding. Do you want to get together again? What are the chances he goes back there?
I tell you, if he plays this right, he could probably play a sympathy card. And get some next dates and say, listen, this freaks me out. The last woman I was on here with tried to get me arrested. I don't know what that's all about. I'm a scared puppy. Please help me. And women will follow over.
Yeah, that's very true.
They're always trying to fix you.
This could be the best thing that ever happened to this guy.
I think so.
Is the fact that he was threatened by this girl who called 911 because she had cold feet.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. Also ridiculous is this story, where researchers have done. This comes to us from Johannes Gutenberg University Mainz in Germany, where they have revealed that 25% of people have experienced orgasm from tickling alone.
Wow.
So tickle, 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 tickle. And 1 out of 4 people on this particular survey at the Johannes Gutenberg University Mainz in Germany say, yeah, I got there. The tickling got me to where I needed to be.
That's really it. Yeah, you hear stories of like women who go to the chiropractor and there's just out of nowhere or on a roller coaster.
And all of a sudden something hits you just right, or people who ride motorcycles or whatever, or the muffler, pardon the pun, is just and they need to where they need to go.
So but can you be
25%? 1 out of every 4 people? Like, what's going on with this tickling?
You combine that with the gummies, and you're going to ring the bell for sure.
That's right. So you got to do. Can you imagine bringing that up?
Yeah.
In the throes of passion, and you're like, "This is all fine and good, but could you tickle me a little bit more?"
Right.
What? I said, "Could you tickle me a little bit more?" Yeah, a little bit more, please, and a little bit more, and a little bit more.
I hate being tickled.
Oh yeah,
it is miserable.
Oh my my wife is the same way. Like when we first started dating or whatever, and you kind of do that playful back and forth
thing.
And it was like all of a sudden she became John McClane from Die Hard, and just like I'm like I didn't know you have those. I didn't either. Like just something like awoken inside her, just like took me out like never again. And I'm like, okay, wow, what transpired? Never again. All right.
Wow. Yeah.
It is a weird phenomenon, the tickling.
Yeah, because we'll do it to a baby,
right?
And they laugh and they love it and they kick and they want you to do it again. And I don't know, there does seem to be an age where it's like this isn't cool anymore.
No, it just
now
it
you're annoying me.
Yeah, it's over. It's a. You should never. I think there's a new rule for the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. Never should you ever tickle another adult.
Right.
That's just a non-starter, an absolute non-starter.
Yeah,
where you're like,
do you know anybody who digs it?
That enjoys tickling?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people who I think, at best, past a certain age, you put up with it. I don't know of anyone who enjoys it. Like, I don't know who this 25% get to completion by tickling are.
No.
But I don't know anyone who's just like, yeah, tickle me more. Tickle me more. That would creep me the hell out.
Yeah.
Come on now. Yeah, no one enjoys it.
Or if that's your thing, if that's how you get there.
Then I don't want any part of you. Maybe that's what that guy had text messages. to the girl. He's like, it's midnight. It's a midnight. You're gonna come to me. You're gonna tickle the hell out of me.
I need
just
a good
tickle
tickling.
me. I need a good tickling. That is why you should call the cops. Had that been her story, instead of he's my ex and I'm pregnant, he's gonna stab and punch me in the face. Had she just called 911 and been like, I got a guy who says he wants me to tickle him to completion, that guy would be arrested on the spot.
Right.
Instead, you make up this story, and that's ridiculous. Between tickle therapy and now this weird therapy.
Yeah, apparently about 6 years ago, this person shows up on the scene, a guy named Xiao Hongqi, a Chinese therapist, who invented something called Pai Da, which is Pai in Chinese means patting, Da means slapping. So he invented something called slapping therapy.
This seems like somebody who just wants to get away with smacking someone in the face.
He sees patients being slapped or slapping themselves repeatedly.
Oh, is this like this guy is someone's big brother? Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. You're slapping yourself. Slapping yourself.
Participants vigorously slap parts of their body, particularly joint areas and the head, until the skin turns red or starts looking bruised.
That's not healthy.
Some go on to do stretches while lying on tables or on the floor against the walls.
I guess you're getting blood to rush to the joints.
Stop. Don't try to justify it.
I love how I'm anti-tickling, but go ahead and slap the shit out of whatever joint is hurting, and I'm okay with that.
Well, now 71-year-old Danielle Cargom is dead.
No!
After going to one of these workshops.
No! Too much slappy?
She was in a 4-day slapping therapy workshop.
That's too long.
She said the person who ran the retreat was a messenger sent by God. Danielle wrote glowing testimonials saying she believed he was starting a revolution in healthcare, by slapping people.
By slapping the hell out of whatever joint is hurting.
She believed in it so much that she stopped taking insulin.
No! Slapping is not like CBD. It can't cure everything.
Right. She seriously fell ill because she hadn't taken her insulin. And apparently this guy told other participants she was experiencing the darkness before the dawn breaks. She needs more slap.
She doesn't need insulin.
Right.
She needs more slapping.
Yeah. Nobody thought to get her a glass of orange juice.
Or something along those lines. Or an orange slice.
Prosecuting attorney told the jury that this woman sought alternatives to her insulin because she was a vegetarian and had a fear of needles. Slapping, though, is perfectly fine.
How do you make that leap? How do you make that? Yeah, exactly.
A little poke once in a while.
Yeah, to just slap me.
She was one of 30 people who attended this workshop for 4 days.
How many people should really be there? Maybe 2?
She became, although she became unwell, she left testimonials on the website saying he was definitely a messenger from God and he was starting a revolution. So there she is, sick as a dog. I mean, she is on death's door, and he walks up with a tablet and says, "Could you leave me a review? It really helps with small businesses in our area."
Could you help with a 5-star? It really looks good for my Yelp profile.
The jury was told that she appeared to be ill, but it was really toxins leaving her body during a healing crisis.
And that's why we had to slap more sense into her.
And so they just kept slapping, and then next thing you know, she's dead.
Do you think at one time she went for the insulin and he slapped her away from the insulin? When she's like, "But I really need this." "No, you don't."
Yeah.
"No, you don't."
And this article from the BBC shows a booklet of how to slap yourself. Here's some diagrams, as you can see.
Slapping your armpit.
Slap around your armpit, slap your head, slap yourself on your shoulder, wherever you need some good slapping.
I do know that, I understand to warm up your muscles, right? We saw, if you watch any of the Olympic trials, when the sprinters come, they do a good job of slap. But
this is not the same thing, Mike.
No, it's only for 5 seconds that they're doing it to warm up the muscles.
That's not. This is a 4-day
slap retreat. Yeah, slap fest indeed, and they're getting slapped with a lawsuit, and rightfully so.
Although I do like to watch the competitive face slapping.
Oh, that's great.
That is great.
Yeah, where they sit there.
And they're professionals, so it's not like the poor woman who's got diabetes.
Right, yeah. Where they just kind of, it's going to go bad for the guy when, they put that, a guy with a monster hand, the hand's the size of their head, and you're like, that's just going to end badly.
Yeah, they approach it like they're approaching a golf ball. Just a little
exactly.
tap.
Line it up. Little tap.
Because the last thing you want to do is haul off and just clip the guy in the chin or something.
No, you got to make sure you're right on there, and then you haul off and it
just absolutely clobber these poor SOBs.
Yeah, that's fun to watch. Up next in the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, it can be an uncomfortable conversation when it comes to sharing your number with your new significant other, the number of sexual conquests you've had in your life.
Yeah.
So they've done a research, and they found that the sweet spot for just enough to make you not seem like you're not experienced, but not too much to make you seem like you're getting around too often.
Okay.
Now listen to how they phrase it and how science can even take the fun out of talking about sex. All right? The researchers identified an ideal level of sexual activity where societal evaluations were more positive.
Okay.
For men, the ideal number of sex partners is around 4 to 5 in their lifetime, with 2 to 3 casual partners, and an age of sexual debut at 18 to 20 years.
Debut.
Instead of losing your virginity at your age of sexual debut, should be between 18 and 20, 4 to 5 overall, only 2 to 3 of which should be casual. The others should be in the context of a monogamous relationship.
Okay. And how old is the guy? I mean, doesn't that play into it in some factor?
Well, no, that's just for
just in general.
Your average man
that's it.
Should have 4 to 5 in their lifetime.
You get to 5 and
society
anything else.
Society starts looking down on you.
You're a male slut.
Yeah, look
you're
at you.
You're a mutt.
You're a Chamberlain.
Yeah.
You got your dangus all over the place.
All right.
For women, they say the ideal levels were lower.
Of course. This bums me out.
Around 2 to 3 in their lifetime, with 1 to 2 casual.
Yeah.
And an age of sexual debut.
I'll give you one strike, and that's about it.
It's 16 to 18 for the sexual debut of the women. So men 18 to 20, women better have their sexual. Now, that's bullcrap. They have to have an earlier sexual debut, and they only have they have 2 to 3 less people that they can do it with.
Oh, man.
What kind of
Who's
bull
responsible for this?
What kind of bull crap is that? This is a new recent research. They found that society tends to view men with high sexual activity more favorably than women. No duh.
Yeah.
Interestingly, both genders are rated most positively when their sexual activity levels are moderate. But they found that sweet spot. And that sweet spot should be more than 2 or 3 for the ladies and only 1 or 2 casual.
Does it have to come up?
It doesn't.
Do you have to have this conversation?
It doesn't. I don't know why people always have to harp on it.
Even if this science is right and there's a number where you go, oh, okay, that makes about a sense for a person of your age. There's the chances that the number is right is low.
Correct. It's fraught with peril. As long as you love each other and no one's got any diseases, and if you do, you're forthright with them ahead of time, be like, hey, sorry. Got a little bit of the old, you know what, going on down there. A little herpes. It comes back from time to time.
And even if you had like a wild youth, your college days or something, and maybe a little body count's a little higher. That's another horrible phrase.
Oh, I hate body that. Count. Yeah, exactly. Notch on my bedpost.
Right. It's so what?
Yeah. At the end of the day, as long as you're cool with who they are now as a person, that's all that's really matters. By the way, no one should ever ask anyone, how old were you when you had your sexual debut? That should be a red flag right away to phrase it that way.
I picture like a VFW with a stage on one end and the curtains come open. Now, here's Mike with his sexual debut.
Hey. Oh, you're right. I feel like you need, at that point, someone needs to be the announcer.
Yeah, it's like a cotillion or something.
Exactly. And here you come, making their sexual debut this evening at age 17. Give it up for,
right.
And even
your parents give out invitation cards and you get presents.
No one, and by the way,
debut.
No one's sexual debut is good. Has anyone ever had a good sexual debut story?
No.
Of it was the most amazing thing that ever happened to me in the world, and I still remember it fondly. It's fumbling around and whatever's going on, and just
movies and romance novels have really the idea of an amazing first time that it's this magical thing you remember for the rest of your life. Everybody is just bad at it.
You remember it for the rest of your life. because it's so embarrassing and horrible.
Yeah.
Your sexual debut. Don't ever ask anyone that. That's absolutely awful.
Oh, I hate everything about that.
Yeah, I do too. And you are going to end with something we think is awry on the internet.
Well, years ago, there was this ship in England. It was an environmental research ship that they were debuting, and they went to the internet and said, "We want you to name this boat." And the internet, being the internet, went bananas.
Yes.
And came up with absolutely ridiculous names for the boat. And the far and away winner, without a doubt, was Boaty McBoatface. Which is hilarious.
Still the same makes me chuckle. That the internet was like, Boaty McBoatface is going to be your new boat.
And then you did what you should never do, is you offended the internet by saying, we're not going to take that name.
Exactly. That was the worst part they did. They changed it to something else.
They named it after David Attenborough.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
they had Boaty McBoatface ready to go, and they went, no, we cannot do that.
That's below us.
Then why'd you ask?
Right, exactly. Because to your point, the internet now is charged up going, okay, we'll show you anytime you ask for a name. Guess what's coming next?
Yeah, and so the internet's always going to goof with you. And so now there's this little market in Pennsylvania, like a farmer's market outside, and they've built this new tent.
Okay.
Where you can go in and do some shopping in there. And they went to the public and said, what should we name our tent?
And Tenty McTentface, I better be one of the choices.
So yeah, they got 200, more than 200 people submitted their ideas, and number one on the list is Tenty McTentface.
Of course. Perfect. Step up to the plate, Pennsylvania Farmers Market.
And what I suspect is a weasel move, and they're trying to get out of Tenty McTentface, which they shouldn't.
No, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
It's Tenty McTentface. We're Big Podcast Face. Doesn't roll off the tongue like Tenty McTentface.
They said, okay, we've got it down to the top 5 finalists.
All right.
The ones that you decide, these are the 5 most popular ones out of all the entries we got. Coming in at number 1, Tenty McTentface.
Makes sense. That's the internet.
Coming in at number 2, Tent to Table. Number 3, Little Broad Street Market. Number 4, The Pavilion. Number 5, The Farmer's Phoenix.
That's fake.
None of those are real.
No one.
None of those are real.
No one came up with tent to table.
No.
What are the other one? The Pavilion?
The Pavilion. Little Broad Street Market. The Farmer's Phoenix.
The only one that maybe was brought up by one single person is the Little Broad Street Market because of the Broad Street bullies from the Philadelphia Flyers back in the day.
And that's where that's where this is.
Maybe that's the only other one. No one's doing tent to table. No one's doing the Pavilion. This is bullcrap.
Yeah,
they're getting their outs. They're finding an off ramp.
What they're doing is, they put one silly out there
to throw you off the scent.
You voted, and we're just listening to the votes. Tenty McTentface, and then there's 4 herrings in there.
It's kind of like the way they're doing it. It's kind of like, and I don't mean to recall when the actual radio, but someone had a contest every week where they'd be like, well, we're waiting for one more vote, but if this is going to be the winner, we got this in the first place, but we got one more vote. Anybody want to? That's what they're doing here. Because they're going to do a vote, and it's going to be, well, now we narrowed it down to 3.
Yeah.
And then if Tenty McTentface is still in there, well, now we're down to 2. Well, that's the different various, and it's going to end up being the Pavilion.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And they are setting this up, and we'll never see the votes.
No, they won't count it.
This will be
widespread fraud.
This will be voter fraud.
Yes,
right in front of our eyes.
Exactly.
They'll walk out with the ballots. We'll never see them.
Yeah.
And they'll come out and say, "Oh yeah, totally. It's now."
We're going to go to bed with Tenty McTentface in the lead, and we wake up the next morning. The Pavilion wins.
And they are absolutely setting this thing up to come up with something stupid.
That's ridiculous.
And so again, it's like, look, why'd you ask?
Yes.
Why'd you ask?
Yeah, if you don't want the answer, then don't ask us in the first place.
You know what you're going to get. You know with the internet, it's going to be ridiculous.
Exactly.
And again, these other just generic-y, goony ones, maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're real, but maybe they got one vote.
Oh, yeah, one apiece. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because behind Tenty McTentface is like, the Dildo Kingdom. Boobs.
Boobies.
Boobs under a tent.
Yeah, boobies. Show us your whatever, something like that. Testy tent or whatever.
Dong's Farmer's Market. And that's what was coming in.
Oh, balls.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Clearly would have gotten more votes than the pavilion.
Parking in the rear.
Right.
Something along those lines.
And because of what happened in England years ago, Tenty McTentface in the lead and needs to be the name of this tent.
Yes. Otherwise it needs to be Dildo Hut, as you and she'll like it too.